going over the rosters for the Season 9 of the SPL. This is basically the same video I made last year. Maybe it was the year before that. Not entirely sure, but I know that a lot of people on the YouTube side of things and maybe even the Twitch side of things aren't too interested in the SPL, or maybe don't keep up with every single thing that's going on. So this is just a nice little update for the rosters and the players going into next year. So, you know, maybe this will be a nice Kickstarter for you guys who aren't too interested in the SPL to start watching next year. So yeah, I'm just going to go over maybe a little bit of my personal history, give you guys some extra information if you want that, and give some of my personal opinions on the teams and everything. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I am on the SmiteProLeague.com website. This is a great website for finding all types of information. You can even buy merch for the teams that you support, you know, obviously buy ours. But if you support a different team, go ahead and buy their merch here as well. If you click the merch tab, you're going to do all that great stuff. When the season actually starts, you can check out the schedule to keep up to date, and you know when you need to be watching Smite game on the old Twitch channel. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get into the teams and the brand names and everything. So something you're going to notice is that a lot of the teams and the rosters are staying pretty similar to what they were last year. So if you watched much of last season, you're going to notice very similar players on each team. One team that, for good reason, is not changing whatsoever are the Atlantis Leviathans, or is Atlantis Leviathans. So these are the reigning world champions. They still have Zapman on their team, you know, the 3-time world champion, undisputed GOAT at this point, you know, a rival of me and my team. For sure. But these are all GOATs. Yarkor staying in the solo lane, Panatome staying in the jungle, Shinto staying in the mid lane, Rongyu as the support, and Zapman, like I said before, is the hunter. And maybe doesn't get enough praise is Xillidan as the coach. He's been their coach their entire time they've been playing in the SPL. If you don't know the history of this team, this is actually a Latin American team. These are all Spanish-speaking individuals besides Zap. He was the addition to the team last year when Julio got kicked or banned for toxicity in game. So Zap was the replacement, and he really propelled this team to new levels, because the history of the Sanguine team and now the Atlantis Leviathans is that they always performed really, really well during the regular season. And something that kind of like goes hand in hand with them is that they're absolute ranked monsters. So they were ranked monsters they would own in the regular season, but when it came to those big moments and like transitioning that like just like that consistency, they were having trouble actually making it in the tournament. So once Zap got on the team and he became that I think that late game shot caller for them. Again, I'm not a part of their team, so I can't say for sure, but I definitely think that Zap maybe level-headed them a little bit when it came to big tournaments, and that's part of the reason I think they won the world championship last year. But yeah, this entire team is just full of GOATs, and I'm good friends with every single one of them whenever we like hang out, like when it comes to like parties and here in Atlanta and stuff like that. All these guys are super nice, and couldn't think of a more deserving like team to win a world championship after all the hard work they put in, and after you know, being basically the only non-NA or European team left in all of Smite, not just like the SPL, but like Challenge Cup scenes and stuff like that. Okay, don't quote me on that. I don't keep up with the Challenge Cup scenes, but you know what I mean. Okay, this is a well-deserving team of a world championship. And something I do want to show you guys is that if you guys are Spanish speakers out there and you're looking for content creators, actually every single one of these players streams on Twitch. And they're all really good to learn from. Yarkor from solo. Actually, every role you can learn Yarkor from, because he's a GOAT at basically every role. He off-rolls a lot. Panatome in the jungle, Shinto in mid, Rongyu. And what you can do, actually, is if you want to check out their Twitch, you can find all this information on the SmiteProLeague.com website, like I said. So if you click their channel, you know what I mean, click their icon and actually go here, you can check out their Twitter. So now I can follow Rongyu on Twitter here. If you want to check out their Twitch and start watching them when they're live. Rongyu might even be live right now. Oh, look at that. He's live right now. So if you want to learn support, you know, obviously Rongyu will be speaking Spanish, but he also obviously speaks English. So check out Rongyu if you want to do that, and any of these players, but this goes for every team. So that is the Atlantis Leviathans. Expect this team to be very, very good going into next year. Coming up next is the Camelot Kings. This team is also staying the exact same, literally from front to bottom. Variety in the solo lane, Captain Twig in the jungle, our former teammate and a good friend of mine. Big Man Tings in the mid lane, Genetics in the support, Netroid in the hunter role. So maybe a little bit more history here as well with the Atlantis Leviathans. Netroid actually used to be the hunter for the Atlantis Leviathans, so that's something to keep in mind. But when the Kings actually put this team together, they got Netroid, picked him up because they realized the potential. Netroid's a very, very good player. He was very good for them last year. So this is one of the few teams that, okay, maybe not one of the few teams. This is probably the one team that I'm not surprised they didn't make any changes, because Big Man Teens for most of the year was playing on European ping, and I think Genetics was for a while as well. I'm kind of forgetting at this point, but so this team had to deal with some ping issues, you know, because they were having to play all the way from Europe to play on NA servers. And you know, when most of your year is spent doing that, and you're having to struggle with blaming things on ping, blaming things on connection, not playing certain gods because of the, obviously the disadvantage that you have. It's really hard to, mesh as a team and get to your maximum potential. So I'm not surprised that this team has stuck together going into this year. And, I always, I think Captain Twigs are the best players of all time. This team, or not this team, but Ben specifically has struggled when it comes to actually finishing out the year and winning worlds. I played in 2 world championships with him and got to the finals with him both times. And not saying that was his fault or anything like that, but you know what I'm saying. It is still yet to be seen if Ben can transition that success from the regular season into the world championship. I have faith in him and I have confidence in him, but that is something that the league is, maybe not the league, but the fans are still wondering about. So yeah, goes without saying, if you guys, most of these guys actually don't stream too much. Genetics and Captain Twig have been streaming a lot lately, though. So if you want to learn jungle, or if you like watching Duel, then check out Ben on Twitch and even on YouTube. And Genetics also is a very good player to learn support from. Thinks outside of the box a lot of time, and it's just a fun player to watch. So yeah, this team is also going to be very good this year. Like I said, they're not going to have to struggle with the ping issues, I think, hopefully. So they're going to actually have a better chance at reaching their maximum potential. So also expect this team to be at the top of the standings, or near the top. Coming up next is my team, the Jade Dragons. So some people are a little bit surprised that we didn't make more changes, which you can think what you want. That's fine with me. To be honest, going into this year, maybe this is an inside scoop for you guys. If I wasn't playing with my boys, if I wasn't playing with Mike, Sam, Max, and now we're playing with Daniel, or Pagon, as most people know him. If I wasn't playing with, especially like my boy Max, then I probably wasn't going to play this year. I was either going to take a break or, just kind of pursue full-time content creation for a little bit. I got some offers from some other teams that I'm not going to get into, but, I just wanted to play with my boys, and thankfully they still wanted to play with me. So we're running it back. Obviously last year was a bit of a letdown. We won the first phase playoffs, or whatever you want to call them. People don't really consider the playoffs much of a win. Like, nobody remembers those. All that really matters in Smite are world championships. I wish that wasn't the case. I mean, obviously I love world championships, but the past few world championships just really haven't been the same, or the past couple, because of COVID and not playing in person and stuff like that. So, it is what it is. And I wish there were more lands where we actually played, like, in a different country. Like, let's go travel to Spain like we did that one time. Maybe let's go to, Sweden and play there in front of the fans. Maybe go down to South America and do something there. Like, I wish we could do that, and then I would actually put some more weight to the tournaments and make them more interesting and more fun. Obviously, COVID kind of fucked a lot of that stuff up, but whatever. The point is, we're staying together as a team. The only difference is that, well, one, Cherio is going to be our coach now, because Kabam is actually going to be, I don't know if I am supposed to say what he's doing, but he's got a job somewhere close to home, so we don't need to worry about him. He's moving on to something else. And now we're going to have Pagon. If you guys don't know who Pagon is, he's been a Challenger Cup phenom, whatever you want to say. He's basically the next Baskin. He's next in line, so to speak. And he's actually, another little known fact, inside scoop, is that Pagon is actually brothers with Benny Q. So there's actually going to be a sibling rivalry in the league, which we're going to get into a little bit later, because we'll go over the last team that's making it in SPL. So yeah, I have full confidence in my team. We were going to turn it up a notch this year. Obviously, the end of last year was not what we wanted. At the beginning, we had a good run at the beginning, won the first phase, and we're continuing with our winning ways. Over the past 3 years, we've been, I think we've been one of the most dominant teams in the SPL of all time. So we just need to finally cash in that dominance and win a world championship. And I'm ready to go hard this year. I've been having a lot of fun with Smite, and I'm very, very motivated. So we'll see what happens. Olympus Bolts. Okay, so this team is actually staying basically the exact same. The only difference going into this year is Masked is going to be their coach. Ro is no longer going to be their coach. He also is taking up a position doing something somewhere else. Don't know if we can speak about that either. But Mask is going to be their coach. If you don't know who Mask is, he was the jungler for LG back in the day in like season 2, was there, or season 3? He was a very, very good jungler, one of the top junglers basically to ever play the game. I think he's going to do good things for this team. Ro was also a really good player. He used to be a pro player. Coming from Australia, but I think Mass maybe will bring a little bit more. I can't really say, because I don't know Ro from experience, like, of playing with him on a team and having his coaching. But I think Mass might bring like more of a definitive call when it comes to opinions on like picks or like how you should play the game, just because he's experienced that like at the top level. So yeah, I think that'll be good for this team. I am a little bit surprised this team didn't make any changes, just because they they didn't have like that disadvantage that the Kings had, where they didn't really get to see their full potential. I'm not saying they have hit their full potential, because I don't think they have. And I think like Haddix is an extremely underrated solo laner. For some reason on tier lists and stuff, he doesn't get put near the top, but you know, he's probably one of the better in lane solo laners like in the entire SPL. So yeah. But like I said, I'm a little bit surprised that the team didn't make any changes, just because they didn't win anything last year, and also, you know, didn't have like that disadvantage that the Kings has. But again, I'm not on their team, and I'm not sure, you know, how like the communication is and what they feel like they needed to work on and stuff like that. But you know, I do think this team can take games off of top teams and all that. And they may even end up coming into this year being a top team. Who knows? Especially if they fix some of the problems that they had. So yeah, and obviously all these guys create content, every single one of them. Haddix been streaming a ton lately. Ven is a very good mid laner to watch, to learn from, especially on the YouTube side of things as well. I know a lot of people maybe aren't too interested in Twitch. You can check out the YouTube. So yeah. And also these guys have been hitting the gym, which we'd like to see. More teams hitting the gym. Come on. You got to be happy about that. The Oni Warriors, okay. Oni Warriors are actually going to be in SPL. They actually had to play in the play-in tournament, and they were able to beat everybody basically, and make it back into the SPL. So they've already competed a little bit in season 9, so they've got a taste of what it's like. So this team is staying the exact same. I'm a little bit surprised, and also a little not surprised about this team staying the exact same. The reason I am a little bit surprised is just because I think that they didn't even make it to the World Championship last year, and that's like a pretty big disappointment, especially for all these players. These are all top-level players. Neilma, 2-time World Champion, beat me, by the way, twice. You know, Vote's been on top teams basically his entire career, ever since he popped off with Rival. Nika, considered one of the best solo laners like in the SPL, maybe even of all time, you know. You know, yada, yada, yada. It's also El Chuckle is a 2-time World Champion. So, like, they definitely underperformed. It was definitely disappointing for them not to make Worlds, so that's why it's a little bit surprising they didn't make any changes whatsoever. But the part that's unsurprising is that this team also had to play on ping, and they had to play on high ping on important roles. Dardes and Cubo, you know, mid-jungle, probably 2 of the most important roles to control the entire map and impact the game and win the game. And they were playing on 140 ping every single game. That's just like, it was just detrimental to their god pools and how they play the game. So that, for that part, you know, it's not surprising that they didn't make any changes, because they really want to see what they can reach with their full potential, and they're all playing on NA ping, which every team should be playing in North America here in Atlanta going into next year. Hopefully that is the plan. So looking a lot more likely than it was last year, that's for sure. So yeah, I'm good friends with all these players, especially Neilmon. Neil and I are pretty good friends, and even though he's beaten me 2 times, I don't hold it against him. You know, we still play Human Fall Flat with the boys every so often. We have a good time. So yeah. All these guys are really nice, and like I said, even though it's a little bit surprising they didn't make changes, it's also unsurprising. So it really comes down to what they think they can reach with their whole team on good ping, and you know, I think the sky is the limit for them. Although I do think going to, at least at the beginning of next year, this team is going to be towards the bottom of the standings. Solar Scarabs. This team is making only one change going into next year, and that's because Solar Troll has left the team to go to a different team, and that's Scary D is now going to be their solo laner. Another 2-time world champion who beat me twice. I mean, I feel like I'm just repeating this. Is this a video? Am I advertising for all these other players? I guess so. So yeah, they're going to have Scary D in the solo lane. They have Slaney as their coach, or Peter, who was our coach on Rival and on Ghost. So I played with him for actually 3 years, because he was also my coach on CLG. I'm good friends with Peter, good friends with all these guys. So this is actually not too surprising. It's just because the Scarabs actually did really well overall last year. They were going to be considered, a lot of people thought that they shouldn't even be in the SPL, and they came in and took games off of top teams. They beat us in the World Champion quarterfinals last year, unfortunately, but they deserved it. They played super well, and I think they kind of showed that they were definitely you know, a team to contend towards the end of the year, especially. And you know, some people were saying, like I said, they shouldn't even have been in the SPL, but they definitely proved that they should. And obviously adding a 2-time world champion in Scary D is going to help this team a lot. However, I do think that Solo Troll maybe fit this team a little bit better because Solo likes to play these like oddball picks and get these like respect bans for stuff like the Hades and stuff like that. Scary's not that type of player. He's going to play the meta picks and he's going to play them really well. He's going to team fight really well. But I just think that Solar Troll kind of gave them that lane to play off of. Scream is very good in these like 2v2 situations with Solo and jungle, and I just think, I don't know, something says to me that like Solar Troll is just like that perfect fit where he can, you know, force pressure on that side of the map and give them a lane to play off of. Not that Scary D can't do that, but he's just not as good at it as Sot is. So I think that maybe this team took a slight step back, which is kind of disrespectful to say because they added a 2-time world champion. But that's just my opinion. It's just something I think about, like how the game is played and stuff like that. But I also think this team is probably going to go into next year with a similar spot towards the end of last year where they're going to take games off of top teams, but I don't think that this is going to be too consistent of a team, at least at the beginning, you know. So at least middle of the pack for me. Titans. Okay, so like I said, Solar Troll is no longer on the Scarabs. He is going to be the solo laner for the Tartarus Titans because Benji has retired. He's going to be their coach now, but I don't know what kind of commitment he is going to be as the coach for that team. I have no idea how that's going to work, but you know, he is going to be retiring and no longer playing in the solo lane, so they're going to have Solar Troll now, and Solar Troll played really well at the World Championship, and I wouldn't say that that's the reason that he's on this team because he's kind of been consistently a good solo laner for a while now, and so they're just giving him that shot. I think specifically probably like Aurora and Cyclone because they're probably the shot callers of this team when it comes to outside decisions, I feel like. So this is obviously a really good team. Tartarus Titans looked like one of the favorites going into the World Championship last year, and they were very consistent throughout the whole year, except for the beginning when they had Scary D in the jungle, but we don't really talk about that, okay? That was an experiment that went wrong, you know, like Frankenstein or something. I don't think that was... Okay. Anyway, moving on, they have Paul. That's all we have to say, really. Paul is probably the best. Maybe... I mean, I did say Zap is the undisputed GOAT, but Paul is also up there. Paul is probably the best mid laner of all time, and you know, he's just going to stay consistent going into next year. The only thing I worry about this team is I don't know how the chemistry is going to be. Obviously, there was some stuff that happened last year with Solar Troll and Layers with the whole bathroom situation, bathroom gate. A lot of you probably don't even know what I'm talking about because you don't watch the SPL or anything. But you know, if you really want to find out about it, you can go look it up. So when it comes to that, it's a little bit worrying, but I also just think that that there might just be some chemistry issues and like how they want to play the game and stuff like that. But you know, I'm sure they'll figure it out, especially because, you know, Aurora's a great leader and a great shot caller when it comes to playing around the map. Never played with him, so I actually don't even know if he's the shot caller. So maybe talking out of my ass a little bit there, but hey, that's just what it looks like from the outside. So this team is definitely going to be doing well going into next year. Consider them a top team and a team that we're going to have to contend with for sure. Like always, we also have had some nice battles, some great battles against this team when they were considered Radiants. I think they were the year before that, before they were Titans. And yeah, so hopefully we'll have some good sets against them going into next year as well. And the last team, and the team but probably needs the most explanation, is the Valhalla Valkyries. So this is actually an SEC team. I don't know, Smite or Hi-Risk changes the name for the Challenger Cup every single year. It's the Challenger Cup, the minor league. I don't know, they just fucking change the name so often. It's so hard to keep up with. But regardless, this is basically the league that's one step below the SPL. One of the top teams, they were called the Winter Dogs. They actually won in the player tournament and made it into the SPL. So this is a huge underdog story. Very cool for the league to see some fresh talent. Actually, some of these players have been in the SPL before, and some of these players I'm like really good friends with. Like for example, Wowie. I used to team with Wowie way back in the day. I almost said that so weird. Way back in the day. But yeah, Wowie and I are very good friends. Jacob. So I'm very happy to see him back in the SPL. Gonna hopefully be able to hang out with him when he's here in Atlanta. Aquarius used to be a solo laner. He played for LG on that same team that I was just talking about. It was at one point it was considered like Aquarius and Benji were the top two solo laners in NA, and they were just going back and forth, especially because they were scrim partners. So Aquarius definitely knows what he's doing. He's going to be a very good solo laner next year. Kirmi is a brand new jungler to the SPL. So this will be his first season. We'll see how he does. Benny Q popped off in the play-ins, and like I said before, Benny Q is actually Pagon's brother. So there's going to be that brother rivalry. Whenever we play the Valhalla Valkyries, there's going to be that brother versus brother in the mid lane, and we'll see who gets the better end of the matchup. Gamma also brand new to the support role, but he's been playing support. Not brand new to the support role, but brand new to the support SPL role, basically. And but he's been playing support for a very long time, so. And Sharks actually is their coach, and I'm pretty sure Sharks is also from Australia. So we have another Australian coach because Biggie's Australian, Roe was Australian, now Sharks is Australian. I'm pretty sure. I hope I'm not wrong on that, but yeah. So fresh talent to the SPL. Usually when new teams come in the SPL, especially SEC players, you kind of expect them to be towards the bottom. So I do expect this team to be towards the bottom, but that doesn't mean that they're all bottom level players or that they can't make it towards the top, especially as they get more experience in the SPL against these top teams and get to scrim against them. Because I really doubt that the Winter Dogs got to scrim against very many SPL teams last year or the year before that, or however long they've been playing together. So yeah, gonna be interested to see. But also, since they're fresh and new to the SPL, they maybe haven't had as much exposure when it comes to like content creation and stuff like that. So I know Wowie streams quite a bit. If you want to watch him, he's very, very chill. If you like watching like a Shroud type player, he's just really good at the game. He just vibes on stream. Then check out his Twitch. I'm not too sure. I don't think Aquarius and Kirmi really stream that much. Maybe Kirmi does. I don't know about Gamma. I think Benny's been trying to stream a little bit more. So if you want to watch some fun, entertaining raw gameplay, or actually not raw, I meant raw as in RAW, by the way. This guy plays literally everything in the mid lane. So if you want to watch somebody take, I don't know, Tsukiyomi into the mid lane or Chalk into the mid lane and see how he does it at a top level, then check out Benny's Twitch. So yeah, I know that was a bit long-winded and maybe I rambled a little bit here and there, but I just want to go over the rosters and the players, give you guys my opinion a little bit on what it's looking like. And yeah, I'm really excited to play in the SPL next year. It's going to be a good time. I think all the players in the SPL are very deserving of their spots. Every single player can, at any point be like a top player and pop off on the highlight reel. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to do my best to bring home some W's for you guys, for me and my team, and for my family. Anyway, if you guys want to, leave a comment down below what you guys want to see next, give me some suggestions for videos that you'd like to see, then feel free to do that. But yeah, this was just a quick overview of the rosters going into Season 9 of the SPL. So stay safe and healthy as always, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.